Guys, I lied. I lied in my video. Early on, I made a video about how cheap it was to live in Singapore. 700 for food, 40 for MRT, 870. It's because in Singapore, you can live in two different distinct lifestyles. The expat lifestyle and the local lifestyle. And of course, I meant to maintain a good quality of life, not that I'm trying to live in a hole in a wall by saving money. That is actually true 2-3 years back. If you have been watching my video in the past couple of years, you know that I moved back to the US during the pandemic and then moved back to Singapore early 2021. And ever since I came back, I realized things have changed. So I feel the urge to update you guys with the most updated information about cost of living in Singapore. And this video is gonna to be my personal experience so that you can get a better understanding of what's going on here. Firstly, let's talk about the biggest item, which is housing. So back in 2019, I was paying about 2,000 Singapore dollar for a one-bedroom condo in a pretty decent location. And if you're willing to live in public housing like HDB, you can actually pay less. Then when I moved back to Singapore in early 2021, I was paying 2.2k and it quickly increased up to 3k the following year. Now at this moment when I'm filming this video, the market price is about 3,500 to 4,000 per month. If you have locked in 2 years lease, lucky you got a good deal. At least there you're saving a whole bunch of money. Even for HDB right now, I just look up one of the property guru website, a real estate rental website in Singapore. It's marketing over $3,000 per month. A one bedroom HDB, not a condo, 3.3 thousand Singapore dollars a month. And it's in Jurong East. It's not in any central location. It's freaking far away. And recently, one of my friends is actually looking for an apartment to move, and she was looking for a two-bedroom condo with $4,000 budget, and she saw one of the place she likes. It's 4.2 thousand per month, so she offered to bid at $4,000 because that's her budget. And guess what? She didn't get it because another person was bidding $4.3 thousand, which is above the listing price. So she increased her price. She said, "Oh, let me also pay $4.3 thousand per month for this place." And the agent said the mainland Chinese tenant just brought a whole bunch of cash to the showing and paid at the spot. That's what's going on in Singapore market. We have a lot of Chinese people coming in to Singapore to settle down. They want to move here, and that's one of the factors that boosts up all the rental market price. So at the end, my friend had to increase her budget to $4,500. The housing market right now in Singapore is just crazy. Second item, let's talk about food prices, because a lot of people in Singapore, they eat out. Most of the people don't really cook at home. A couple of years ago, I was paying 1 Singapore dollar for a local Singaporean milk tea, which is the Desi, and now the price is up by 20%. Though it's only $1.2, which is not that expensive, but thinking about the scale of percentage, it's actually 20% up. And I used to pay $2.50 for a bubble tea. Now I'm paying like $5 for a bubble tea. And more so, they are charging $1.50 extra for not having ice. They charge extra for anything, like really anything. And in 2019, I was paying like $3 on economy rice, which is basically I pick like itemized dishes, like a couple of meat or a couple of dishes and put together in a rice box. And they always fill up the box with like mountain high kind of volume. And now last week I just went to get economy rice and I was paying like $6-7 for the same amount of food, and that's like more than twice compared to like 3 years ago. So when I first came to Singapore in 2015, I was paying like $3 for a chicken rice, and I actually haven't had chicken rice for a long time. So last month I went back to Hawker Center to buy chicken rice. The small size is $4.5 and the big size is like $6, almost double as well. And I also recently bought a local pancake, which is called popiah. It's very small appetizer thing. And when I got my popiah, I was holding it on my hand. It was miserably tiny, like almost smaller than my fingers. I could have got like double the size with the same price. So they either increase the price or shrink the size of the food by 50%. Because I'm so used to the American portion, the food portion in Asia is very, very small for me. So I usually order 3 dishes per meal. So easily I would pay $15 to $20 per meal in Hawker Center. It's not even a restaurant. It's like those local food stall. Compared to like a couple years back, I never had to pay anything above $10. Sometimes I do want to eat better, so this crab meal costs like $70 in a hawker center. Again, it's not even a restaurant, basically just I take it out, eat it at home. Oh man, inflation is real. So my monthly food cost is like $800 and $900 around the range. Public transportation is probably the only thing that is still cheap here. And yes, I really endorse Singapore public transportation. It's just amazing and efficient. Less than $1 pretty much can get you anywhere within Singapore. So my monthly public transportation cost is just about $40 to $50 per month. And I also try to walk anywhere if I can. But on the other side, that is not like public, the private cars and taxi. Do you have any idea on how expensive the taxi and Grab ride is these days? So for the same distance, I used to pay like $10 on a Grab. These days, I'm paying like at least $20 on the same ride. And they're getting more and more expensive after IPO. But on the other hand, taxi and Gojek, I found it to be slightly cheaper. It's not that much cheaper, maybe like 20% lower. So now I almost never take taxi or Grab ride unless I have to go to airport and somewhere really far and inconvenient. The taxi fee for me is actually like $0 on monthly expenses. I guess in that sense, I'm actually saving money. The next thing is fitness. I think fitness is still quite good, and thanks to this amazing weather in Singapore, I always run outdoors, so it's basically free for me to run outdoor and you get a very nice scenery running by the water. Though recently it rains quite a lot and I got caught in the rain, but also because I live in a condo, so usually all the condo has a little exercise room. I can sometimes go to the exercise room if I don't go out for a gym. But in Singapore, it's actually quite convenient. Even if you live in HDB, one of those public housings, there's always a community fitness center where you pay very minimal fees to go to those public gyms. But on the other side, I'm also a Latin dancer. Latin dance in Singapore is kind of considered one of those expat activities, so it's quite expensive. I have to pay $120 monthly, and that's just like one public class per week. So fitness for me, I usually spend about $120 per month. I know some of the guys pay like $50 per week on those better gyms. The next thing I want to talk about is healthcare. When I was living in Potong Pasir, which is one of the more local residential neighborhoods in Singapore, not a lot of expats in that area. So for those neighborhood clinics, I pay just about $20 for a consultation. And last week, I went for a clinic for a simple visit. I was paying $35 for consultation fee, as well as another $30 for medication. So the bill came out to be $64. It's really not cheap anymore, so if you want to save money, better not to be sick. And there's also news about the goods and services tax gonna to increase by 2% in the next 2 years. So the 1% gonna to be increased in January 2023, and there's another 1% is gonna to be increased in 2024. Thing is just gonna to get more and more expensive. If you calculate my monthly living expenses, I was really paying like $2,000 on the housing plus $870 per month on everything, usually less than $3,000, and that's a pretty good quality of life in Singapore. And now just my housing is $3,000 or maybe more, so $5,000 a month is pretty much how much I need to live in the same quality as before. So don't get me wrong, I still love living in Singapore, but I just have to point out that inflation is real and Singapore dollar is depreciating against US dollar. That means the Singapore dollar income worth less than before. That means it's really doubling the pain. Though Singapore is getting more and more expensive, it's still not as expensive as other cities in US, for example, San Francisco and New York City. I've checked their prices as well. Singapore is still cheaper than those cities, and there are still ways to keep it up. We can save money by being healthy, saving lots of medical costs, by cooking at home, by investing in the right financial product to hedge against the increasing interest rates, which is actually something that I've been actively doing. like reallocating my portfolio. And I've also discovered a financial management app that you can have commission-free trading and deposit savings scheme. And there's some promotions going on by clicking the referral link that I'm going to link up in the description box below. It's definitely free cash bonus for you, so do sign up before the promotion ends. If you want me to make a video about my investments and financial management, do comment below, and don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time.